I'm here in Kent, Washington to pick up a mini digger excavator from the Shandong China Coal and Machinery Company. In this first video, I want to unbox, do a walk around, examine the machine, and share my first impressions. Later, I'll post some work videos and a more detailed review once I've actually put it to work. This machine, like I said, is from China Coal, and I'll put a link in the description for that. I'll also include an email address for the customs broker I used. So I'm hauling it with my Traverse, and there it is. There supposedly is an excavator in that box, but we'll get it home and we'll get it unpacked and we'll see what we really got. Yeah, pretty exciting. From terminal transfer. So my first problem is they didn't get it centered on here. So I got my jack in here and I'm just pushing this container over to the middle. Get it centered up. See how crooked it is. So I'll get it centered on the trailer by pushing it around with the jack, and then we'll be ready to go. Alright, got her here. Right, 600 miles later, and we're ready to unbox it. Here we go. Oh, there it is. I'm noticing right away here that it looks like there's no fluids in this, so I'm probably going to need to go over the whole machine because it looks like maybe they ship it without the oil. So we're going to definitely figure that out. But here it is. From the China Coal Company. Alright, what do we got here? They've included a cool little toolbox. Let's see what's in the little toolbox. Hopefully there's a manual. There is a manual. That's great news. The bad news for me is that it's all in Chinese. What else is in here? We got there's the manual for the engine. There's an extra, I think that's probably a hydraulic filter, an extra engine fuel filter. Well, I'm saying extra. I'm assuming there's one in the machine. I don't know what that is. Crescent wrench, grease gun, some sockets. Alright, into the engine. It looks very straightforward. It's just got a Briggs & Stratton engine. There's the fuel tank. There's the air filter, the muffler, and it just has a pump bolted directly to the output shaft on the engine. And it looks like a pretty simple pump. Just an in and an out pump. So, and there's the oil check for this. So let's get down here and see if we can tell whether it's shipped with oil or not. Looks wet. Oh, good. It has oil in it. So that makes me happy. Don't have to deal with that just yet. It's got a throttle. Just a cable actuated throttle. And you can see it's just moving that down there. And then this is kind of cool. So this Briggs & Stratton, as you can see, still has the pull start on it, even though it also has a keyed start. Choke. And an hour meter, 0.2. You can see that suction line runs over here, and there's the reservoir right there. So the reservoir tank for the hydraulic is right there. There's the gauge. We can see it's not full. And hey, look, there's the fill right there. So let's move the mat. Ooh, it's oily. I can't get it off. I'm gonna have to go get a wrench. Alright, that's enough to loosen it. Alright. Whoa. Okay, that's that. That's showing oil in there. But it's not. Oh, maybe it is completely showing on the gauge. I take it back. It's not empty. It is completely full to the very tip top. Because if you look, we can see some bubbles in the top there. So it looked empty, but it actually is full. So correction there. It did ship with the hydraulic oil, which is leaking a little bit here. And probably so. It just looks like there's a couple of screws that hold that down. Did they send us a screwdriver? Hey, look, they sent us a screwdriver. So let's just see if those, yeah, those are pretty loose. So we're going to just snug those up. All right. All right, what else are we looking for? So there's no coolant on this. The other thing I did notice, important to notice this kind of stuff right away, is there's metal shavings right there. And that's not a big deal. I'm not worried about that. They're from the manufacturing process, but I want to note that they're there because I don't want to be freaked out later when I look at the machine and I see those metal filings. Oh, what is this little guy? Where'd that come from? Okay, we'll look around, see where. Oh, maybe right there. Also, checking this out. Look at that little tiny cylinder. I'm going to put my hand on it so you can see how small it really is. This is a tiny, tiny cylinder. And it doesn't look like anything has grease zerks. So I'm assuming that's some sort of needle, which I don't have. So I'm going to need to find that. Unless maybe, does their grease gun have that? Here's the grease gun. Aha! There it is. So there's that fitting to do that. So maybe I can put this on my regular grease gun. I'll have to check that out. So instead of pins, everywhere there are bolts instead of pins. Not a big deal. It just means they can't come loose. And I'm pretty pleased to see that these actually are greasable. Because I was thinking that maybe they weren't greasable at all. There's two settings for this. I guess so you can have whether it throws back closer to the machine or whether it reaches further is probably what that changes. It's got an auxiliary line coming in. We did not get the hydraulic thumb. I kind of wish I'd have got that. That would have been worth it. I asked them for a thumb, but I did not specify hydraulic thumb, so I should have been more clear on that, apparently. And then I got some tiny buckets. I've never picked up an excavator bucket by hand before, but there's an excavator bucket. Here's the cleanout bucket. I'll stick my hand in it so you can get some perspective of how big it is. And then I'm excited about this thing. The brush rake. That should be pretty great. And it just looks like you take out 2 bolts. Take out 2 bolts. Those 2 right there. And it'll change it. And then on the thumb, you adjust. Oop, fold it up. Oh, I don't like that. That's going to be annoying. Let's see. Let's see if we can get something that's going to replace easier than that. No. Let's give this a try. Yeah, I like that better. There we go. We're going to do that. Can't quite get it with one hand. Lift up on the thumb, loosen it up. Still doesn't quite want to come out. So that's painted in there. There we go. All right, so that's the situation there. Let's get some oil on that and put it back in with oil, and maybe clean the paint off of that. All right, clean the paint off of that a little bit. Maybe it'll slide a little. Handy dandy oil can. Yeah, just put a little oil on there. There we go. Yeah, let's see what we got now. All right, let's jump over and take a look at the undercarriage on this thing. Here's the undercarriage. It has 2 rollers on the bottom, no roller on top, and then the motor is not like it's not a standard final drive like you find on an excavator usually. Instead, the motor is mounted up under the back. I was aware of this when I bought it, and it's something I think I'm going to need to be really conscientious of, because I could see myself smashing those into things really easily. Also, I'm going to have to be wary about this machine sinking in the mud, because it does not have a lot of clearance, actually. So bigger machines I've always owned have had the carriage goes up, comes back down, and it doesn't have any under bars like these. But I suspect those add a lot of stability to this and help protect you when you're driving over stuff from hitting these motors. So I'm not thinking those are a bad thing at all. They probably strengthen it up without having to add a whole bunch of cost in the manufacturing. I can see a bunch of grease on that gear. So we just have a gear on the turret and a hydraulic motor with a gear over here. And that is all exposed. So, that being said, this machine is not going to be for really mucking around in stuff. I mean, we've had excavators where we've sunk them in the bog and that kind of thing, and auto this part of the machine for sure underwater. We're not going to want to do that with this, because there's an open electrical connection right there. So there's just some observation on that. I think it'll still be great at what we want it to do, which is just the little bitty handwork. All right, we're going to find out exactly how much it holds. Okay, so that was way less than I would have thought. It holds 1.5 gallons of gas. Wow. It's kind of good. I'm glad I checked that. I probably would have attacked it with like a 5-gallon can. So now I know I just need to use like a little gallon can to top that thing off. And if you're interested in the little tiny China coal digger, make sure you visit the channel and check out some of the videos of it working hard.